now I would actually move to the first speaker, to Roman Bojko from IKEA company. As I mentioned, he has a special position dealing with diversity. It's called actually Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Leader. He has been with IKEA for a couple of years. He also worked on the sustainability issue, and he will talk actually about LGBT community. So Roman, the floor is yours.
So thank you very much, Lenka, for the introduction. And thank you very much for the opportunity to being here. So as Lenka said, May is a month which is in European Union dedicated to the topic of diversity. And I would say this week is a very even more dedicated to diversity and the topic of support of LGBT. On 17th of May, we have celebrated the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia, so-called IDAHOT. So that's why I'm also happy to share diversity and inclusion from the perspective of the topic of sexual orientation, different gender and identities. So what I would like to share with you today is maybe a little bit of global of like a general issue regarding the topic of being a person of LGBT community at the workplace, but then also how do we as IKEA how do we approach this topic? And I would just say it's a learning process. So, and I would say for a lot of topics in diversity and inclusion, it's a lot about exploring the inequalities and then tackling them. A lot about communication, education, making ourselves aware of different issues, talking to people from different minorities to understand. So it's a lot about understanding our biases, but also the privileges we have. So from that angle, I would like to present you what we have reached by now. But starting from more broader perspective, we as at IKEA believe that everybody has a right to have a safe home. We want to create a better life for many people, and we do see that LGBT couples share the same values as any couples. And love is a love, but they definitely could feel less welcome, respected, and they don't have equal rights and opportunities. So diversity of sexual orientation and gender identities is a fact. That's a fact. And the inequality or the equality is not a fact. There are inequalities, and the opportunities are not the same for all the people, and it can really be impacted by your sexual orientation and gender identity. So speaking from that, just reminding ourselves how much of the entire life we spend at work. So 1/3 of the working life we spend actually being at work, and actually only half of the people actually working from the group of LGBT, they openly speak about their sexual orientation at work, which means they stay hidden in the closet, or they don't really speak out and come out at the work. Very similar numbers also seen for the US, and what it has at the end of the impact is people not being able to be themselves, and have even a fear of people maybe finding out about their personal life, and then at the end there's the impact on their engagement, productivity, creativity at the workplace. Maybe some more of the numbers also from the Czech Republic. So here we can see also the reasons why people from LGBT community that don't want to come out at the workplace in Czech Republic. So from the research 2019, which was made by the Ombudsman, you can see that how the people actually fear that this could jeopardize their career. So it can have a direct impact on the career. They are afraid of a possible deterioration of workplace relationships, and they also fear if there will be some reaction from the colleagues. From those, you can see that 11% of them have been discriminated, or from the workers, 11% have been discriminated, but only 9 of them would actually report such incidents. So that's why sometimes saying that it's in our workplace, it's okay, nobody says anything, there is no issues, I haven't heard about anybody speaking about any issues, then doesn't really necessarily mean that it's not going on. as you can see, only 1 of 10 person would such a activity, like such an incident. And one last perspective is the perspective of how actually are we as a Czechs inclusive towards different topics. So here I would say this goes for different topics, that we cannot say that Czechs are exclusive or inclusive people, but it really depends on the topic. So when it comes to the older people, social, like the social justice, when it comes into people of disability, we feel much more importance regarding the equality than we feel regarding the people regarding the equality for people sexually or romantically attracted to people of the same sex, so LGBT group, or when it comes to the people of different races, ethnicities, and nationalities. So there we don't feel it's so important to improve the situation. So maybe there is also not so much urgency to tackle the inequality in the laws, in the situation, in the workplace, and so on. So, I mean, we always need to also understand that perspective when speaking about urgency and importance of the topic, that first we need to do a lot of education regarding the inequalities, understanding why it's important to do such a change. So why for us is it important to focus on LGBT inclusion? So it's definitely the humanistic point of view of a Swedish company, where we see equality as a human right. So everybody should have equal opportunities regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. So equality should be for all. At the same time, it's good for the business as well, and for the customers, like broadening including more people from the society. You definitely understand the needs of different minorities. You also expand the customers who are willing to shop or and then also definitely regarding the recruitment, it's the expansion of actually who are going to be attracted as a talent. So there is also I would say business perspective, and even when I will come back to to some examples. But if you have ever seen last employer branding campaign of IKEA in Czech Republic, we have been using Store Stoma, which is bag I will be speaking about, the rainbow bag, as one of the iconic product used in the campaign to directly communicate that LGBT inclusion and diversity is an important topic for us, and in such way trying to also build the brand as an employer. So how actually to create inclusion of how to create an LGBT inclusive workplace? I mean, that's quite a difficult topic to do as for any other topics regarding the inclusion. So we have been working for some time with the inclusion model, which is adapted model from Winters Group. It has 4 different aspects, which I will now cover. And it has we'll be speaking about systems that we establish. So these are the systems, the routines, the standards you establish. Individual diversity competence and emotional intelligence. That's a lot about development of leaders and education, and then values-driven culture, which is more about the campaigns, the communications, and how does this affects, for example, our business planning, people planning. So how the topic is seen in a business agenda and communication and so on. So regarding the systems, and I start with less, I would say, more boring topics, like a systems where we have a group policy on a human rights equality. So sorry, here I forgot to translate, but this is like the policies which defines the other how human rights are affecting our policies and the treatment of coworkers. So here we don't have any. We have like zero tolerance against the discrimination. Same is for the code of conduct, which is something a new coworker has to also be educated, or has to pass the has to read it through, and then has to pass also some learning modules to get informed, or that we know that the person understand what is the part of the conduct. And there it defines also the principle of cooperation, but also the way how to raise the concerns, so how you can actually report any of incident, as I was mentioning, if you have been bullied, for example, then what is the way how you can effectively, easily approach, who to approach, where to call, where to send an email. So it's a working system. We also, in this learning curve, we have been realizing there is more to be done. So, for example, what we have seen is that like in Czech Republic, the registered partnership, the couples in the registered partnership doesn't have the same opportunities as the one in the heterosexual marriages. So that's why we have decided to tackle by internal regulations the inequalities. So we are providing the time of benefits for birth of a child, for a wedding, and so on, to the both same, to making sure we tackle that, and it's really same for all. And regarding a compensation package, we don't also distinguish between wedding or entering into registered partnership. I would say gay people don't use the term registered partnership. It's not. I mean, it's a weird term. And to be registered, not to be married, to somebody, sounds very weird. So, but I mean, but we also don't distinguish between any of the forms of the documents you show when you are asking for certain benefits. And we also have a global guidelines for trans inclusion now to also guide to when we have a coworkers which are in the process transferring from one to one gender, to make sure like that also our HR people at the units know what to do and how to handle the situation. So regarding the competencies, so on this module, the second part, connecting more to the education. So we have introduced the online modules, which are around 15 minutes, very basic about LGBT inclusion, and also trans inclusion are both online, available in the local languages. That's like a base. And then we use Idaho as an opportunity to bring some topic, like for example on Tuesday, Thursday. Now we have workshops on with the Prague Pride focused on the coming out and the situation of people at the workplace, and so we have been discussing with many leaders, colleagues about I mean, they can join and they can find out more about how to support their colleagues. So that's regarding the education. And here I just want to mention also the second part of the educational one, which is connected to the unconscious bias. So unconscious bias is, and also the unconscious way, how could we discriminating or creating barriers for the inclusion. So here, in terms of talking about the biases, we also include the topics of sexual orientation, gender identity. So definitely we all have a biases also based on the what is the gender identity or sexual orientation of the other person. So we also tackle that topics in the trainings. And now I go more to the I would say the rainbow part, the colorful part. So the value-based culture. So here I just want to show some examples of how does this affect also our communication and how do we actually communicate this topic both internally and externally. So Idaho is a day when we bring the full spectrum of the rainbow colors. We really try to enjoy this week in a rainbow way, and very like a positive positive decoration and engagement of a coworkers speaking about the topic. We also bring some education. So this is example of a slide that I was sharing with coworkers. Actually, this was last year in the a common breakfast. So we were talking also about today is the Idaho Day, and then we just spoke about some things we can do to ensure that our coworkers feel more inclusive. So like a simple things that you can do, like call it out. So when you hear a joke and your colleague is sitting next and you hear a joke about the LGBT people, so you kind of stand out for the person and say, okay, I mean, not good joke, or I don't know, or you make fun of it, and then you move away from it, so you ensure that it's not so it's not addressed. And then also person maybe which unaware have done that is aware that there's somebody who could feel offended by that. So yeah, some simple things we all can do. Yeah, we also gonna run also this Sunday on a fun run. So that's a way how to engage people, and also in a like regarding the movement and the health. So these are T-shirts for the Sunday we're gonna run. And so I have a T-shirt. I don't have the physical ability now to run, but it's okay. And then this is the communication in the store. So what you can see, you use the product, and also we communicate directly to the customers the items regarding the IDAHOT and the inclusion and the need of inclusion of LGBT community. So we use our products to remind them through the rainbow color the day as such. And this is example also from last year, when one of the room said we have like profile as a room set of a two gay men living in. So we brought some rainbow colors, but also the story of them where when just describing the issues they are facing on a daily life. So we often use the stories of like who is living in the room, which you can find in the IKEA. So you can find I don't know, student which loves sustainability, and then so we also changed in each of the store one of the room to this purpose. Yeah, so Store Stoma is something we can see on many of the pictures. So every year we also launch the sales of a Store Stoma bag, which is the rainbow color Fracta bag, and basically the profits of the bag goes to the NGOs which are working with the LGBT people in crisis. So coming out is often connected to a lot of stress, and it could be even leads to a crisis. So in Czech Republic we work with Zbarvou van, which has been a great support to LGBT people in crisis. And we also raised the flags. This was the third year we raised the flag. Second year we raised the progress flag. Now the progress flag brought in this black and brown color, which also speaks about the LGBT people in different colors of the skin. So it could be a combination of the diversity aspect that can make you even more discriminated. I will speak about the example in the next slide. And then there is a white, pink, and blue, which speaks about people of a transgender community. So that's the difference which has been done to the rainbow flag. So we use that flag for second year in front of the stores in Czech Republic. And here, what I was mentioning is that, for example, one of the projects we have been supporting this year is Ara Art, working with the Roma LGBT community, where exactly you can see that as a Roma person, you are already quite could be quite discriminated based on your color of the skin or being part of the Roma community. At the same time, if you are LGBT person, you could be also excluded from a Roma community as such, but also be not included in the LGBT community. So you become it's a very difficult situation where you are excommunicated from your own family or community of friends, and then it's very difficult for you to find the new beginning. So here, just want to mention work of Ara Art briefly. We have still time for that, so I'll just play David Tischer is a quick video speaking about his work and our support.
Ara Art je jedinou neziskovou organizací v republice, která se věnuje právům romské LGBT plus menšiny. Tento tréninkový byt slouží Romům a Romkám, kteří byli ze své rodiny nebo ze své komunity vyloučeni, exkomunikováni na základě toho, že patří do skupiny LGBT plus. bych chtěl za všechny IKEA poděkovat, že jim umožnila začít nový život. Děkujeme.
Okay, so and the last part, I just want to mention that we also transferred this from internal, external to, I would say, even more external communication. So we always try to reach out to the media, also speaking about the topic and the actions we do. So here's just some examples how has we done this. This is from the last year, also engaging the influencers through the products, so either Anabi or Storstoma, to ensure that we use their voice as well to reach many people regarding the topic, and also supporting others doing that. So Prague Pride and here Czeslaw doing great job regarding the equality for the marriages. So we'll be supporting the law of the law here. Maybe if you haven't ever seen the documentary, Zákon lásky is a very nice documentary describing the absurdity, but also the difficulties, how basically what is, and the opinions of different people regarding the registered partnerships and the wedding and making it equal. So I really encourage you to watch the movie to also to educate yourself and to understand more about the issues that the LGBT couples face in Czech Republic. And also, I mean, there's as action here. We have also signed up for the common letter from the companies to support the passing of the law in the last year in April. So yeah, thank you very much. So these were the 4 points of views. How do we work with the LGBT inclusion at the company? So from the systems to the educational to the communicational part. But at the end of the day, it's, I guess, everyone's responsibility, and that's so it's up to us. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Roman, for your presentation. And I have a couple of questions for you. And the first is basically when your position was started or established by the company. Has it a long tradition, or when actually IKEA, maybe in the Czech Republic or in Sweden, started to have a specific focus on this topic?
I mean, I would say not a specific purpose, but maybe what is changing is that we make it more systematic. So, but already 1994, there was a Swedish advertisement. Also, that was also shown here, where 2 gay couple men were choosing a table for the dining room, and it's already kind of attract the people to start discussing. Then there was the catalog where there were gay couples in the catalog, so it was very common also to show the pictures of two same-sex people in the showrooms. So there was this, I would say, this layer, but now I think we are going deeper in not only communicating about that everybody should be equal and everybody should have the equal rights, but also being more proactive in designing the internal routines where we can also tackle the issues, where we can educate the people, where we can directly ask for feedback from the LGBT community. So I think this is improving. And if I can say where we are heading, where we are not so well still, is, for example, engagement of which is our activities coming from the coworkers. So making sure that they can establish their own community. So this is one of the actions now I have also in the plan, to make sure that we have this coworkers resource groups that people can implement their own activities. So it's not driven based on the communication plan or people plan, but it's driven by the coworkers for coworkers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what is the general perception of the employees with these topics? Like, do they like these events, and how do they respond to events which are focusing on LGBT topic?
I think I think general response is a positive, but there are, of course, there are questions like, I mean, it's okay, very common questions or comment you can hear. Okay, so when do we focus on heterosexual couples, where we will have a day or flag or so? And I think it's a valid comment when you are not like well educated, or because a lot of the same comments also we get from the customers. So why don't you focus more on people, on this people, that people? And I think it kind of goes with this graph that I was showing, how do we perceive different groups and the needs for the equality, and how much sometimes we don't understand the issues, because they say, people say like, okay, I don't care if you are gay or not gay. I mean, it's up to you, whatever you do at home. I don't judge everybody, but it's not about that. It's about understanding that if you put next to two couples, legally, in workplace, you can see they don't have the same opportunities. So it's not about comparing and focusing on everybody, but separately focusing on that group and speaking about what we have to done to improve the situation. So I would say in general, positive response, and there are comments and questions definitely as well. So then we need to kind of remind, why are we doing this? What is the problem? What is the issue? What can we do? So it gets more concrete.
Okay. And maybe one last question, which actually relates to what you have said. Do you also plan to focus on different topics than LGBT, maybe minorities, other minorities, race, or other minorities?
Yeah, definitely. So we work with topic of gender equality. We work with topic of diversity regarding the age, ethnicities, and inclusion of people with disabilities. We work topic with LGBT inclusion. So we work with different topics. We don't compare them. We work separately with each of them. Try to do the best in each of them. But we have and for each of this group, all together, we also have. We have a surveys to give feedback. We have an inclusion index to measure based on the units, so for every store. And we have also we have introduced the inclusion survey, where people can anonymously and voluntarily sign up, like they can take different communities they are part of or groups, and then also give direct feedback of how well they feel included, or if they could feel they can be themselves, if they have ever been discriminated at work, so they can give also direct feedback based on the community they are part of. So this is how we collect also from different groups the feedback.
Thank you so much, Roman, for your contributions. And now we will move
Thank you.
to